Goals that work are 5 things. The first thing is they must be specific. The second thing is they must be measurable. I want to lose weight. That's not a goal, that is a wish. Or it's your spouse's wish. In my case. Because she walks 8 miles every morning, works out like a fiend, has 0 body fat, which is seriously wonderful since she's my wife, but it's simultaneously shaming. So I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. It's not a goal, that's a wish. It is something that is measurable, because you could measure weight loss, but you weren't specific. What do you want to lose? I want to lose 30 pounds, okay? I want to lose 30 pounds. Now we've got the 2 basic things covered. We've got a measurable goal, because weight is measurable. I want to make $100,000. That's measurable, and it's specific. I want to make more money. I want to increase revenue. It's not worth anything. I want to increase sales. It's not worth anything. How freaking much? Put a number on it. Tell me what you're going to do. Because that's going to lead us into the rest of a natural exercise that comes out of goal setting. Must be specific, must be measurable. Here's the third one, and this one's where the magic comes. What's the time limit? I want to lose 30 pounds. Good, that's specific and it's measurable, but I want to lose 30 pounds. How long do you want to take? 10 years? How many times do you want to lose 30 pounds? Oh, you too, yeah. So I want to lose 30 pounds. When? Now, I want to make $100,000. When? Over 10 years, 10 months, 10 minutes. When? By Christmas. When? What are we going to, when? As soon as you have something that's specific and it's measurable and you put a time limit on it, instantaneously, even the non-math people start doing long division and breaking that apart. You can't keep yourself from doing it. I want to lose 30 pounds. When? Over 3 months. Great. How many is that a month? 10 pounds a month. What is that? 2.5 pounds a week. Now I immediately start going to the things I need to do that I'm not doing now, which is reduce caloric intake, increase water, drop the sugar and the bread, and increase the aerobic activity. Bing! 2.5 pounds a week starts going off. That's an average of 10 a month, and that's 30 pounds magically in 90 days. I want to make $100,000. When? A year. Okay, that's $8,333 a month. What's your sales rate? What's your average order value? What's your rejection rate? Okay, based on our rejection rate with the number of calls, you're going to make 67 calls a week in order to pull that off. Because at your commission rate, you've got to close this much to get this many dollars in to have $2,100 a week coming in to your pocket, which is $8,300. So I had a guy, these salespeople, some of them, the only sale they make is us when we hire them, right? And so we talked about that. So I had one of these guys, I'm sitting in the lunchroom with him talking just randomly one day, and he's blowing off. He said, I'm going to make $100,000 this year. And I said, no, you're not. And he said, well, what do you mean? And I said, you don't think I read the sales reports? I said, you're going to make about $50,000 this year. And he said, oh, no, Dave, I got it. No, really. You're averaging about 30 calls a week, and you got to do about 67 a week at your order value and average close ratio in that room. And you're not the exception. That's the other rule. I mean, who do you think you are, the freaking Peyton Manning of sales? Come on, buddy. Seriously, go in there and dialing for dollars, man. Make the contacts, build the relationships, close the deal. But you take 67 hits, man. You're doing about 30. And if you want 100, I think you could make 100, but at your current rate of activity, you won't, because your activities are creating your results, and your results are not going to be there. You need about $2,100 a week in income. That's $8,333 a month to make $100,000 a year. So he didn't sit by me at lunch anymore. But oddly enough, I did watch the sales reports, and his call volume did go way up. And then we figured out he needed to work on actually having a real conversation, not just call volume, actually talking to a human and discussing ideas with them, not just dialing. And so it's a process to teach folk. But yeah, and so anyway, we got him there eventually, and he did really well for a while. But he was bullcrapping me, and he was bullcrapping himself. Because if you've got I want to pay off, you hear me do it on the radio all the time. They go, I got $75,000 in debt. It's going to take me 8 years to pay that off. I'm like, you can't pay off $10,000 a year? I mean, that's big math real quick. I mean, 75 divided by 8 is not even 10, right? Y'all got that? Dave's a math whiz. I mean, no, we learned that in the 6th grade, seriously. It's long division, and so short division in that case. So, but I immediately just look at two things. I look at their income and say, okay, how much disposable income could I throw at the debt and divide it into the debt? And I go, you ought to be out of debt in 14, 18 months, But it's just all I'm doing is backing into a time limit, a specific amount that's measurable, and it's helping them set a goal and then jacking them up to make the sacrifices to cause the thing to happen. Sell the car, amputate the Tahoe, sell so much stuff the kids think they're next. Quit going out to eat every freaking night and then wondering why you're broke. I'm just walking people through what do you have to do to hit this measurable result in this period of time. The fourth thing about goal setting is that goals have to be yours. I want to lose weight is way different than my wife wants me to lose weight. I want to make more money is way different than my boss wants me to make more money. I didn't tell that guy, I want you to increase your sales. I didn't set a quota for him. Make 67 calls or you're out of here. I just helped him with his reality that he was not embracing the activity. He wanted to get where he said he wanted to go. When you set goals for someone else, that's corporate America. That's called a quota. Now, you have to set performance standards, which are your floors. That's different. Performance standards are, this is permission to play. This is table stakes. This is what you got to do to stay in the building. That's a performance standard. But a goal is what they're going to do up into the sweet stuff, right? Beyond just getting to stay. The difference in being a barely hanging on sales rep and a sales rep who's ringing the bell, right? There's a lot of, anything in between there is a goal. Difference in performance standards. Now, performance standards are not quotas, that's reality. You have to bring in this much or we don't get an ROI on you and this relationship ends because it is based on a two-way street here. I give you money, you bring me more. That's how employees work. That's how team members work, right? This mathematical thing, we can't get away. Otherwise, it's not sustainable. We're not running a not-for-profit intentionally anyway. So, have to be my goals. I have to own the goals. If I don't believe it, if I can't conceive it, someone else believing it for me doesn't work. Has to be your goals. Why are you a dentist? My mom always wanted me to be a dentist. I'm not coming to you. That will hurt. You don't want to be there, so I don't want to be there. No, thank you. How are you a pastor? Tell me your story about becoming a pastor. Well, my dad was a pastor, my grandpa was a pastor, and my dad always wanted me to be a pastor, my grandpa always wanted me to pastor. I'm not coming to your church. That's sweet, but I want to go to a church where the pastor is called by God, not his daddy. I want to go to a church where the pastor wants to be a pastor. He's not living out someone else's dream that's long dead. My mama always wanted my daddy. No. That's why you don't invite your kids into your business unless you tell them, unless God calls them into your business, unless they want to be there. They don't need to come into your business because they're there to please you. That is never going to work. You're always going to get a reduced level of creativity, productivity, effort. You always are. It's someone else setting your goals. You have to set your goals. You have to train other people to set goals and motivate them to set goals. I can require you set goals. That's different than telling you what your goal is. I can require everyone have a goal setting session in a sales meeting, and I would do that often. But that's different than me coming in and going, we talked about it at the operating board level, and we think all of you people should be X. That's a quota. There's no buy-in. It has to be your goals. And the last one, and this one's just magical, and I do not quite understand it. There is a spiritual element to it, and it absolutely happens, and it doesn't happen if you don't do it. It has to be in writing. I've sort of kind of got my budget in my head. You don't have a budget. A budget is a detailed plan laid out for your goals, for your money, this month, this week, this quarter, this year. That's a budget. in writing, on paper, on purpose, and aligned with your spouse if it's a personal budget at home and you're married. You don't have a budget until you did that. I sort of kind of got it in my head. I know where my numbers are. No, you don't. You're full of crap. You just don't. It has to be in writing. And so as soon as you write down, I want to make $100,000 in 1 year. I want to, that's $8,333 a month. Go ahead and do the long division, $2,100 a month. And here are the things I must do to cause that to happen. Here's my activity level that must cause that to happen. Here's the 6 things that must occur to get that result for that thing to happen. And I got to tell you, I grew up on this stuff. A lot of you have heard this stuff right here 1,000 times. You've been in all kinds of things and leadership trainings over the years. Some of you, this is your very first time to hear it. Share it with your team. But this stuff is in my DNA since I was a kid. 50 years I've been chewing on this. This is how I think. It's how I function. This is as close as I typically get to strategic planning until I learned as an act of my will to do strategic planning. But this right here I did from day one, automatically.